All right. Here we go. Today's juicy topic is all about men's insecurities. So, super excited to dig into this with you guys. Again, I am Allison Joy, and we have a little visitor today. So, she's going to be in and out of the video. That is Lulu. And so, I think this topic is so fucking important for women to understand, because we get so caught up in our own heads that we don't even think about what the other person could be going through. And I will say this about my own personal experience. It's like I have always been in my own head and never even thought about thinking that my husband had insecurities, right? So I learned a lot, and I think a lot of women will too. And then men, this is going to be super helpful for you guys, because I'm going to give you the girl's point of view on everything. So hopefully this will really help kind of put some of your insecurities to rest. So the beautiful thing is, my husband and I have some really fucking absolutely incredible conversations over, actually really any time, but normally we take, grab a glass of wine and we sit outside and we just start digging into this stuff. We both are really passionate about it. And I was able to really get some juicy stuff on what he portrayed as the number one top, or the top insecurities for overall for men. So let's get into it, okay? So I love this because we just think so differently, right? So the very first thing is the insecurity of your cock size, right? This one comes up all the time, and we should really address it. So just so you guys know, if you are the average man, then average is meaning somewhere around 6 inches. So you could be a little bit higher than that, you could be a little bit lower than that, whatever the case may be. You do not have to worry about not being enough because you don't have a 10-inch cock, right? So this one is, we're going to be bringing this back to porn a lot, because I think that is the biggest issue, is we just see these very few men that are really equipped, and they are few and far between, right? And so when we have the information of being oh, okay, the average cock size is 6 inches, so yay, maybe I'm a little bit bigger than that, or okay, maybe I'm right around there, fine, or under, then we'll talk about things that you can do. So the biggest thing is, this is not a huge priority for women, okay? Honestly, truly honestly, 10-inch cocks are not going to do me any good. Really, we only have so much room. So if you are, it's really cool to be talking about having this huge cock, but at the same exact time, I'm not going to be able to do much with that, and most women won't be able to. So our main pleasure points are really reachable for any man, okay? That is the reality. That is the reality, okay? So that is the biggest one. We need to make sure that we're comfortable with who we are and what we have. And the reality is, you can't fucking change it. So just like I tell my women of we need to accept our pussy for being what it is and run with it and learn to love it and embrace it and go. You guys are the same exact way. You're not going to change what God gave you. So let's just work with it, right? Let's just do it. So, that's the biggest one. And I want to actually dig right into this whole porn thing right away, because it's it's a very important topic that I feel like it needs to be addressed, because I truly believe that most men, like, a sexual experience or intro into sex is porn, right? So, which is fine. At least you guys, like, know something. Women, unfortunately, have been kept in the dark for so long. But we have to look at porn as like any type of movie, right? This is the discussion my husband and I had, is like, we watch movies and everything is to the extreme, right? Like, it's very blown up and exaggerated, but we know that that is not real life, right? So it's not like all of a sudden we change our lives to be like a Marvel movie. Like, that's just not going to be the case, right? So I understand that porn is extremes of everything, right? And so that's fine. That's fine. And it can be a tool that you guys can enjoy. I really recommend involving your partner in like watching stuff that you guys both can enjoy, and leaving it as that is like, okay, this is an extreme case. And honestly, the documentaries behind porn actually will tell you that, like, these movies are actually like recorded over a couple days, right? So if you think about that, is these guys are injecting themselves, they're having rests, they're doing all these things and then coming back. So I have absolutely nothing against porn, as obviously I'm like all about sex, but keep it controlled, right? Anything too much of anything is not a good thing, right? And especially if like you're really doing it alone and not including your partner, and they feel kind of like disassociated, then those are red flags, right? So really, really focus on knowing that is not real, and you have to deal with a human being as a human being. So first things first is your cock size is perfect the way that it is, and you are more insecure about it than the women are even thinking about that, okay? So the key is that we want to make sure that you know how to use it properly. Like, and we're going to get into that, right? Like, really perfect your skills and things like that. So the next one is going to be the insecurity of coming too quickly, right? Not being able to satisfy your partner fully before you come. And so with this one, I love to address this because I want men to really, truly understand the importance of foreplay. Like, women need foreplay, and this actually really helps you out as well, right? Like, if you can really spend time in foreplay and then get into sex where, honestly, like, the average time is under 5 minutes. I think it's actually even under 3 minutes, like the true reality. Okay, so that's not going to work for us women at all. Okay, so what do we do with that? We want you guys to get into foreplay. Okay, we really want you guys to spend this amazing time like exploring our bodies, eating us out, like really playing with toys, all these things. This gives you this plenty of time to satisfy your partner, and then, okay, great, then you get into sex, and if you can get to 10 minutes, great. If not, there's not that much pressure anymore because your partner's already completely been satisfied. Okay, and then you get to have fun with sex, but it's not as you're not just relying on that really, really, really short amount of time for pleasure. So get in there with the foreplay, and like get her going, and then that takes the pressure off you a little bit, right? So that is number 2. So do not worry so much about like coming too quickly. And even if you do, like, okay, this happens, I want you to know that that doesn't mean that you cannot satisfy your partner. Okay? So if that happens, then instead of just being like, oh, like defeated and frustrated and upset, then just pivot and freaking grab a toy and finish her off, or, you know, go down there and eat her out. Like, do whatever you can do. She's not even going to think about it. If you don't make it a big deal, she's really not going to make it a big deal. Okay. So like, we have to remember that women we're all emotional, right? So the more, and we feel terrible if something like that happens, and then you're beating yourself up, and then you ruin the whole entire evening. So just pivot, rotate, move around, get into some new things, and finish her off that way. Okay. And the big thing is, we're going to talk about this a little bit more, but like really making sure that you guys are like communicating, okay? Because I think you'll find more and more that we just naturally like have huge hearts. And if we have fallen in love with you, or we're like, seem like we're really into you, we are going to be truly understanding and like all about whatever we can do to help. Thank you. So that one is really, really important. Okay. The next one is like not knowing or feeling like you're doing the right thing. Okay. And this is a big one for women to understand, because we are not comfortable at the beginning, like voicing our opinions on what feels good and what doesn't feel good. And believe me guys, I am working on this with these women. Like, they need to really start exploring themselves and knowing what feels good, because then when you are with them and you are wondering, like, does this feel good or doesn't feel good, because she's not like even making any noise or anything, there's no signs for anything, I know how frustrating that probably could be. So even again, a little tiny communication there, like asking her, like, oh, do you like this or do you like that? Like, make it kind of this fun little game. Like, I think I mentioned in the other video of like asking for permission. That could be really helpful in this case of asking, like, you know, can I do this? Can I do that? And that kind of could help her learn what she likes. Okay. So, but women, this is a big one. This is a really, really, really huge one for men. We are hard to figure out, okay? Because I always tell my husband this all the time, like, I don't know how you even can figure me out, but more and more I've learned to really, really, really use my voice and let him know. So, but what can feel good to me today may not feel good tomorrow, or may not feel good next week, right? So we hold this huge like mystery about us, and I feel like part of that is really seductive, and then there's part of that is really fucking confusing. So with this one, I want to suggest to the women, start giving some type of feedback, like, ooh, yeah, I like it there. Or even if it's just a little bit of noise, like, oh, yeah, ooh, I like that. Or just start moaning a little louder if you're not comfortable with words yet. Using your body language that like is very like pulls them in, as opposed to like pushing them away. If you want this, right? Like, you have to communicate. So good feedback is really, really, really important for you dudes, and I'm working on that. I really am trying to get them to talk. Okay. The next one is praise, right? Like, the major insecurity for men that we don't realize as women is we need we need they need their confidence to be boosted as well. They need to feel loved. They need to hear the words of affirmation just like we do. Okay. So talking to them and giving them compliments, and even if they look like extremely confident, right? Like, I never, ever, ever thought that my husband needed it. He is a guy's he is completely secure in his masculine, and I was always like, dude, I don't need to even boost any ego, like, he is good to go. Not true, right? Like, they need it and they want it just like we do. And I completely can understand that now, like, really, like, thinking about how it works. We are all human. We all need a confidence boost, right? So give it to them. Give it to them. Don't fake it, right? Find things that you genuinely absolutely love about them and say it to them. And really say it to them in the moment, okay? So really, really, really important there. The next one is about kinks. Okay, so everybody has kinks. Everybody does, okay? And it doesn't mean that it needs to be like whips and chains and being hung by nipple rings if that is not what you're into. But kinks is more about like keeping it adventurous and spicy and changing things up a little bit. And I feel like every single person has something. It's just trying to figure out what that is. And so men obviously are very like physical. They like to, it's what they see, what they feel is all very erotic for them, right? So with women, we're very, very, very quiet when it comes to that. And it takes us a lot longer to figure out what those are, especially if we're younger, right? Like once we get into our 40s, like watch out, because us women in our 40s really probably know what we really, really want, or getting there, right? Like we're figuring it out. So with these, if you are somebody that's really into kinks, this is when communication is so important. And this communication needs to be done outside of the bedroom. Okay. So having a great conversation with your partner about like, things you like or don't like. And I actually have, it was actually a sheet, super fun couples date idea of like, I think it was from Sex with Emily, who is a podcast, and it's yes, no, maybe. And it was a super fun date night thing to do. Obviously, once you've started dating somebody for a little bit, this is not something you would want to bring up like the first few weeks, unless you're like heavily into this and you're trying to find somebody that matches you completely. But if you're just like the average person, you might want to wait a little bit before bringing this up. But this was a really fun sheet. You could always ask me for it. I'd be more than happy to send it to you. But wait a little bit, get that comfort level in there where you guys can discuss it. It is really, really, really important to not critique or debrief your like sex right after. Okay, because this is really fucking important to keep the sexual energy potent and positive. Okay, so if there is something, of course, I'm not talking about if something hurts. If something hurts or if something is not right, you need to stop the situation and change what you're doing. But this is like little things like, oh, I really don't like this, or I really do like this, or any of that type of stuff. Keep it for way after, because what tends to happen is those imprints will show up again the next time you guys are having sex or messing around. And I definitely do not want I don't want any negative issues within the bedroom, right? Okay, so the very last thing that I want to talk about today is remember, like, this is supposed to be fun and super exciting and something that you guys are always digging and always learning about, right? So keep learning, okay? One of the major things that I see with men is they do get really, really, really stuck in their ways. And they may have had experiences in the past that they're like, oh yeah, like so-and-so told me I was really great at this, or so-and-so told me that this is the best thing for all women, or do not tell me what to do because I am amazing at this. Walk away from that. Walk the fuck away from that. Okay? We are all here to continue to learn and to continue to grow. And if you are somebody that's super, super stuck in your ways, you're probably going to end up being alone. Hate to break it to you. But if you are somebody that's really open to learning and to experience pleasure with your partner, or learning about your partner and doing the work is pleasurable, so get over that and start having a fucking absolutely incredible time with the person that you are now, because whatever happened in the past is in the past, okay? If you want to elevate your sexual experiences and reach in and dig with somebody new, be open to what they have to say. Okay? Be open to what feels good to her, and vice versa. As a woman, be open to experiencing this person as a brand new person. Just because of a relationship before doesn't mean what worked for him before is what's going to work for this dude, right? So we can learn from those experiences, but do not put a cap on your experiences and what you can find out. Everybody's different, right? That is the point of sex, is the exploring, is to learn, is to elevate, to try things new, to make it spicy, to all the things, okay? Like, this is what is so exciting, and this is why I'm so excited about teaching this stuff. So, in all, it's supposed to be super fun, but it is a huge, huge issue when you get stuck in your head, right? So you have these insecurities. Try, and just like I always tell the women, which we will be talking about the women's insecurities on Thursday, but these insecurities, you know, I promise you they're not as big of a deal as you think. And I just recommend, if you are somebody that's struggling with these insecurities, perfect your other wonderful qualities, right? So like, if you aren't confident in your size, then be fucking absolutely mind-blowing with eating her out, or, you know, be absolutely incredible with fucking toys, or be, you know, incredible with like words and make her melt and come with just your words, right? Like, think outside the box, because women are all about that. Like, holy shit, like, we want something new and spicy for sure. So come to the table with your best fucking dinner, right? Like, let's do it. So that's it for today. A little bit longer than I thought it was going to be, but hopefully this is super helpful for you guys. And let's let go of those insecurities and just have a lot of fun.